Welcome to Overcoming Medical Hair Loss Summit. My name is Valerie Fuentes. I'm your host, and today I am with Jessie. I am so excited that you're here, and I want you guys to know the reason why I wanted to invite her is because I know she's a huge mental health advocate, just like me, and I think we share a lot of the same interests and just passion to help people in these areas with hair loss, mental health. So I've been following you for a while, and I really, really appreciate everything that you post because it's very genuine, so open, so vulnerable that I feel extremely connected to you, and this is the first time we're talking. So that's how cool and open you have been. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Jessie, for those of you who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about you and maybe when you started losing your hair?
So I am currently 35 and I started losing my hair when I was 30. I went off of my birth control because my husband and I were going to try for a baby. And my hair started falling out in clumps. I gained a lot of weight. My skin was terrible and I wasn't getting pregnant. So I went to my gynecologist who ultimately diagnosed me with polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. And my hair loss, which is androgenic alopecia, is hormonally caused and it is a symptom of my PCOS. So I don't have an official alopecia diagnosis, but I do have hair loss caused by PCOS.
Okay. And so did you start losing your hair right when you got off the pill?
It was probably about a month afterward. I started noticing, you have bigger clumps in the shower. I was having a hard time. I never had really thick, beautiful hair anyway, but I was having a harder time styling it, getting volume in it. The ends were starting to get wispy and see-through. I could see, my scalp when I would pull my hair back. And, when I would wash my hair, clumps of hair would come out in my fingers. And so I got really nervous that something was wrong. I'd never heard of PCOS before, even though 1 in 10 women in this country have it, which is crazy. So when my doctor said that the hair loss was caused by this hormonal disorder, just to have some answers made me feel a lot better. Even though I couldn't really control what was happening to me, it just felt good to have some answers.
Right. And then we know that you were able to conceive. So how was your hair during pregnancy and after pregnancy? And the reason why I'm asking is because this is a huge topic I feel in our community. What happens to our hair during pregnancy, after pregnancy. And I've found after, with my clients and interviewing a lot of women that it's different for everyone. So like the reason why I'm asking you those questions and why I'm sharing this with you guys is so you can see that everybody has a different story. So don't get hung up if you hear in one interview that, there was this person that had a bunch of hair when she was pregnant and then this other one lost all her hair while she was pregnant. Like we're all different and alopecia shows up in different ways at different times. So I just want to highlight that, everybody has their own story. So what was yours like when you got pregnant?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone's different with their hair loss and how it looks. And hormones are so crazy in how they affect all of us. People are more sensitive. So I did get pregnant. We did some fertility treatments, and so I was able to get pregnant. My hair actually was not bad during pregnancy. It did start to sort of fill in a little bit. Now, the hair was growing back, but the hair that grew back was not the same as it had been. It was thinner and finer and just more frizzy. But I did get some regrowth. By the time I gave birth, it looked not too bad up in a messy bun on my head. I did not give birth wearing hair. I was sufficiently distracted enough to not worry about my hair. And then probably about 3 months postpartum, out it came. Again, big clumps in the shower, all that. But I was prepared for it. I knew it was probably going to happen. And by that point, I had been wearing toppers for about a little over a year. almost 2 years. So, you know, I was ready for it, and it didn't affect me emotionally as much as it might have, because I have my solution. I have my toppers. It's fine.
That's great. So tell us about that. When did you decide to start wearing toppers?
So let's see. So I turned 30 in May of 2015. My hair started falling out that summer. By the following, no, by that fall, I have no idea what day it is anymore. So by that fall, when I realized that, you know, I'm trying to get pregnant, I don't want to try Rogaine. I don't really know what's going on. So I started looking up, you know, hair extensions. But the problem with my type of hair loss, if you wear hair extension, you know, you'll see the wefts because there was nothing on top. So I actually, I came across a website, and I'm sure a lot of people know this website. It's called Corner of Hope in Maine. And the woman who runs it, Lauren, everything I know, I learned from her. Lauren is incredible. And her website is where I found out about toppers. And I was like, this is genius. So I ordered a topper. My first one was a John Renault piece. It was like a short little bob. I forget the name of it. And when it came and I clipped it in, and I was like, oh my God, like angels singing. It was, you know, it took some practice and some getting used to. And I did worry a lot about like, okay, I've been wearing, but before I found the topper, I've been wearing like those the hair scrunchy buns, just to put some, you know, bulk into my low bun that I've been wearing all the time. So I was worried about going from that to having like a fuller head of hair, and how I was going to go about that with my coworkers. And ultimately I just decided to be open about it. I said, yeah, you know what? My hair's falling out. It's super weird, but now I have good hair and it just clips in and it's very cool. Look at this. And so I felt such a sense of control, getting control back, when I started wearing hair, when I started talking about it. And that really helped improve my mental health and my total outlook about it.
Totally. But it's interesting that you said it, you know, like I just said that to my coworkers and that was it, right? Like, because for some people that takes months, if not years. And it's like the scariest thing in the world. So,
I do want to say that I was dying inside when that happened. I am a fantastic actress, right? Fake it till you make it. I'm like, I'm going to act like it's no big deal, even though I was dying on the inside. But the thing is, the more you do that, the more you believe yourself. And so just through practice and repetition, it really does become not a big deal.
Absolutely.
Now when people compliment my hair, sometimes I just go, thanks, it's a wig. And, you know, most people are curious. They're interested. I've never had anybody say anything bad to my face. So I think that we need to give ourselves a little more credit as far as.
Oh my God, yes. And not only that, but I feel like we are always thinking that people care, you know, and sometimes they don't even, A, they didn't even notice. B, they don't, right? Or, you know, it's just like they're wrapped around in their own stuff. Just like we're thinking that they're thinking about us, they're thinking that we're thinking about them.
Exactly.
So, and also what happens sometimes is that when we're open, then we give them the opportunity to open up too, right? So for me, when I started sharing about my hair loss, I had people come to me about all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were going through this. I remember when we were in college, I was going through this, and you know, I wish I would have known, and da-da-da. And so like that's another thing that I remind everyone is that the moment you start being yourself, you allow other people to be yourself. So it can literally be pure magic, like you said. Not only frees you, but it frees other people.
Yeah. I think showing vulnerability, it's really, really scary. But the more we all show a little bit of vulnerability, the more we can all work to understand each other and to have compassion for each other. And so that's, you know, everyone's different. Again, some people might wear hair and keep it a secret their whole life, and that's fine. You know, everyone's going to pick what is best for them. But for me, a way that I ease my anxiety about things that I don't have control over is to find a way to take control over some aspect of it. And so the the stress of telling people about my hair loss for me was not as bad as the stress of worrying about hiding it. You know,
That is so true.
and then it got really fun. You know, just last year, I started being brave enough to wear different colors and styles every day. You know, one day I come in with pink hair and one day I come in with blonde hair. And it's been a lot of fun. And my coworkers love it. They're always like, "Ooh, what hair is that today? Ooh, is that a new wig?" Like they love it. And that's the ones who notice. Most of them don't notice. And if they do notice, they don't care. They really don't.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So speaking of anxiety, I also know that this is something that you like to talk about. So can you share with us like a little bit about your own mental health issues, like what you've dealt with? How do you feel right now? Because I've relayed to your story a lot. I've had anxiety myself for a long, long time. Well, now it's totally under control. I want to say what worked for me was mindfulness and meditation, right? Like, and other kinds of mindfulness practices, but everybody's different, right? So I want to know what has worked for you. Also, because I know hair loss itself causes depression. You know, it puts us down. We get anxiety about it. We get anxiety about regrowing our hair. It's a snowball effect of all the things. And taking control, like you said, is super important. So tell us a little bit about your story.
So I've had anxiety my whole life. I mean, I think even as a fetus, I was anxious. I was 2 weeks late being born because I have transition issues and I don't like new things. So, you know, a little bit in high school and college, you know, I saw a couple of therapists, but, you know, when you're that age, you don't want to talk to anybody. It wasn't until my adult life, after I graduated college and started working full time, that I said, you know what, I'm going to find a therapist to help me with some of this stuff. And she did, and she was wonderful. I saw her, you know, on and off for about 5 years, and then she retired, and I will never forgive her. But by that point, I had learned so many different coping skills, you know, to help me. One of my best coping skills is talking about things. You know, if I can verbalize them, they suddenly become not so scary and not so overwhelming because I've put them out in the universe. I also do take medication. I take anxiety and depression medication. I have for a long time, and I will for a long time. Medication's not for everyone, but it is for me. And I see it as no different than treating high blood pressure or diabetes or anything like that. And like, you know, I've talked about before, I was recently diagnosed with ADHD. And so I've been able to apply my coping skills that I've learned with anxiety to some of this ADHD. It is kind of weird. I sort of have to relearn how to do everything in a way that works for my brain, as opposed to the way that typical people do things. And with that comes some anxiety. So I think, you know, calling on these coping skills that I've learned my whole life is very helpful. And as it pertains to hair loss, you know, by the time my hair fell out, I'd been seeing a therapist for a long time. I'd been on medication for a couple of years. I was feeling pretty good. Then my hair started falling out, and all that self-esteem tanked. You know, I was gaining weight. My skin was terrible. My hair was falling out. I felt fat. I felt ugly. I felt, you know, not in control of my body, and I wasn't. So the anxiety that came along with that, it was debilitating for a while. It was really, I was not in good mental health shape. I was still seeing my therapist at that point, so I'd talk about it with her. And when I came in one day with my new topper and talked to her about it, she's like, I am so proud of you that you found a way to control a situation that you can't control. You know, you found something in it that could help you. And so, you know, starting to wear hair was a big turnaround for me as far as my anxiety regarding my hair loss.
Totally. And what I love about your approach is that you took care of both, right? Like the reason why I created this summit specifically is so I and somehow could impact both. Like I want everybody to do the inner work and the outer work, because yes, we get to wear amazing hair and there's so many wigs and beautiful toppers and we're gonna rock it and we're gonna look amazing. But if we don't do the inner work, forget it. Like you're still gonna feel shitty, you're still gonna feel worthless, and you just have to do both. And not only you have to do both, but you have to do both forever. Right? It's like this is something that you get to live with, and how do you say that, incorporate into your life forever, because it's not it's not going to go away. So like you get to love yourself and go to therapy forever if you have to. Like
I love
honestly,
therapy.
like going to see someone is so good. Right? Like I can't. Yes, I mean, please go to see somebody. Like I guarantee you it will transform your life, and it doesn't have to be forever. Like you can go for a period of time until you feel better about yourself, and then you can move on. Right? But I feel like a lot of us go through this alone for so long. Like all through my 20s, I was in clinical depression, to the moment like I didn't want to live anymore. And I had to get to that point of being almost suicidal. It's so hard for me to say that, but it's true. For me to turn my life around and be like, you know what? I want to live. And if I'm going to live, then I have to live with this hair loss. Like it is what it is. But I had to get to that point. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because you don't have to get to that point, right? Like if you feel anxious or depressed or all this stuff, like go take care of it. Like I'm so proud of you for taking care of it, right? Like for going to see your therapist. If you feel like you're on medication, well, take medication. And like, you're handling it. So I think that's amazing.
One thing that I have talked about is that my acceptance and peace with my hair loss is a lot due to in late 2016, I had a traumatic pregnancy loss. And when something like that happens to you, it makes you reprioritize the things in your life. So that's not to say that hair loss is not a big deal or that it never was a big deal for me. But after that, it just, for me, became not as important.
Right.
So obviously, I'm not wishing something traumatic on people to help them accept their hair loss. But I find that, life does sort of show you how to prioritize the things that are happening to you and decide what's really important and what's not.
Right. And so when did you start your account, and what prompted you to start the account?
I started my account summer 2018. I'd had my baby the fall before, so he was about 9 months old. And I was scrolling through accounts, hair loss accounts and wig accounts on my regular Instagram. And I decided that I didn't want to clog my regular Instagram with all this hair stuff on the feed. So I would create a separate hair loss Instagram. And I just started interacting with more people, posting tips, posting tricks. And it just sort of grew. I think that, not to toot my own horn, but I think that people find my honesty and no BS to be refreshing. And so, like I've always said, and everyone's different, but, I don't take free products from people because I frankly don't have the time or the energy to get into that kind of a relationship with sellers. I don't want to get involved in marketing. I share what I like, what I buy with my own money, and that's what works for me. And I always say your mileage may vary. But I really love interacting with people. I'm always happy to answer questions about, how can I blend my topper better? What do you like better? Wet hand tied, that kind of thing. I will never answer medical questions because I'm not a doctor and
Mm,
I am not qualified to answer medical
yep.
questions. But I'm always happy to commiserate with people on hair loss, PCOS, infertility, mental health, whatever it is,
Hmm.
because another big part of healing and accepting is understanding that you're not alone. And I think that's
Hmm.
huge. And I really love the sense of community that there is on Instagram with the hair loss. It's
It's
been
so
really.
powerful.
Mhm.
It's so powerful. So speaking about being brutally honest and answering questions in the DMs and all the things, I have to ask you because this is one thing that I've struggled. Not struggle, but I'll share my experience in a minute. Is I want to know because I've seen your post about Monet. Have you had conversations with these people? And I'm not saying these people in a I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just saying, have you had conversations with people who sell Monet? Because I have, and I don't know why I feel like I have to educate them. You know what I mean? Like I, because part of me feels like they're not coming from a bad place. Some of them, right? Um, but I just want to know, like, what's your experience? Because you're like, get the hell out of my page, right? And
Patient.
sometimes I want to say that, but sometimes I'm like, well, what if they don't know? So I just want to hear your take on that.
Well, there's two sides of this, right? So Monet is a multi-level marketing company.
Right.
And with a multi-level marketing company, which is a pyramid scheme, and I will die on that hill, um, the sales tactics are different than regular retail. To be a consultant for a multi-level marketing company, you need to, especially in this day and age with the internet and everything, they are encouraged to reach out to total strangers
Okay.
with the pitch. It's very obvious when people find my posts. You can tell when they're looking through hashtags. Um, or like I'll see that somebody follows me and then she goes through and likes like 30 of my posts all at once, and then a minute I'm like, I can smell it. I click on her profile, yep, there it is, Monet. Even if they haven't pitched anything, even if they just go and like everything on my profile, I'm like, you're gearing up, I know you are. So I personally do not agree with the multi-level marketing business model. I think it's
Okay.
predatory. That said, I think that most salespeople are not trying to swindle me. I think that they truly don't understand, they're not medical professionals. They don't
Right.
understand how alopecia works.
Exactly.
And they have been, I don't want to say programmed, but they have been encouraged by their uplines to reach out to, sort of a vulnerable population.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, when my hair first started falling out, I would have given my left foot to have it grow back.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know better, but when people, women are first dealing with hair loss, it's a very emotional time.
It is.
They're usually willing to try anything to get their hair to grow back. And so even if it's not intentional, I think it's very disingenuous and I think it's predatory to try to market your shampoo to these women who are in a vulnerable position. So, and all that aside, I mean, it's shampoo. Okay, it's not going to grow your hair back. Shampoo is not going to grow your hair back. And this whole thing about, oh, it's just shedding all the dead whatever that's clogging your, stop it. It's like you're trying to like invent science for this, and it's just not true. So again, that is a hill I will die on. Not everybody agrees with me,
Right.
but that is how I feel about it. And I think I've made it pretty clear how I feel about it.
Oh, I know.
Which is
It's
why I'm
very
always
clear.
surprised that I get hit up so often. I'm like, hello.
Oh my God, me too. Like every day.
I used to sort of, if I was bored enough, I would sort of like pick a fight, but now I just don't even respond and I just delete the message, or, sometimes I have to block people because I won't get involved with that.
Right. Yeah, I had to ask, A, because like, you're super open about it, right? Which I love. And also because I live in Miami and actually the factory is here.
Mm-hmm.
So Monet is like everywhere here. Like everybody and their mother uses it, blah, blah, blah. I know like dermatologists that I've seen myself that are part of the scientific team of the the company. And to me, it's just, I don't know. Like the whole thing doesn't make sense to me, to be honest with you. And I don't see it as Monet. I see as all treatments that I've tried, I've had ended up in heartbreak, right? So because I've been through the heartbreak for many, many years and I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, that's what I'm upset about, right? Like I'm upset about all the times that I invested myself emotionally and financially into something and it didn't work. And so when I see that, which is what you're saying, like you just get really upset. But it's not even about you because you're over and you're not going to buy it anyway. But it's about the other people, right? You're like, why are you doing this to others? So that I have a problem with. Um, so yeah, I just like sometimes I don't even know what to say. But I'm not like because I also I because there's so many people here, I also have friends that are part of it. And I know they're not coming from a bad place, but I'm like, guys, could you please just don't do that? Like you can do whatever you like, but don't say that it's gonna grow people's hairs back because you don't know that, you've never seen that, you're not a doctor. Like, you can still have your business, but please don't say that.
I mean, the structure of multi-level marketing and the way that it works, there's a lot of pressure. You have to get your sales. Otherwise, it's something like 98% of participants in a multi-level marketing lose money. So that pressure to perform can make, someone who might be innocent in their selling, go a little bit over the line when it comes to looking for potential sales. Um, I try to not blame the consultants, the salespeople, because
Mm-hmm.
again, I think the whole multi-level marketing business model is predatory, but that's like a higher up point of view. But it's frustrating. It's really
It is.
frustrating. And so I try to encourage everyone to be an informed consumer, be skeptical. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And here's the reality. If Monet really was a miracle hair loss cure, wouldn't we all know about it? Wouldn't we all be using it? Wouldn't there be no more Rogaine or there would be no more bald people, right? If it really worked the way they say it works, we'd all be using it already. And it would be retail, normal retail, you know.
Right.
So that's all. If you like Monet and you like the way it smells or whatever, and you just like the way it cleans your hair, go nuts. My big bottle of Costco shampoo does a great job. It doesn't cost nearly as much, and it lasts forever because I have no hair. But be
Which was
critical.
going to be my next question to you, because I find also different answers to this question within the community is, what about your bio hair? Like, do you care at all? Do you take care of it? Do you take care of your scalp? Do you have any routine? Are you just like done with it if it's dirty, if you don't cut it? Like, do you care?
I wash it.
Okay.
My bio hair is still very oily and greasy and gross. And, it's hot, it's summer, so I sweat. So I do wash it either every day or every other day and condition it like normal. I typically do not blow it dry anymore. I never go for a real haircut. When my hair is starting to get a little long and scraggly, I literally take it and take a pair of hair cutting scissors and chop the end off. And that's it. I do that maybe once a year because it doesn't grow very fast. I've stopped coloring it. I've stopped, I wash it, I let it dry, and that's about it.
So you're done. And are you done also trying anything to regrow it? Or are you past that point?
I never actually tried anything to regrow it because
Okay.
again, when my hair started falling out, I was trying to get pregnant, and you can't
Right.
do Rogaine or any other, you know,
Right.
there are some hormonal medications, but you can't take them when you're trying to get pregnant.
Mhm.
So by the time I was pregnant and had my son, I'd been wearing toppers for 2 years. So I'm like, this is fine. You know, why shake it up? I don't need to worry myself with Rogaine or anything like that. Um, so what was the question? See, ADHD.
That if you're trying to regrow your hair.
No, I'm not trying to regrow my hair. Um, it's, you know, I'm busy. I'm a working mom. I have a house and a dog and a husband and a toddler, and I don't have enough space in my brain for anything extra. And for me, regrowing my hair is not a priority because I found my solution, and my solution is wigs and toppers. And I'm happy with that, and I'm at peace with it.
Good. So what do you have to say for those people that don't know yet if they want to wear hair, they don't know where to start? Do you have any piece of advice?
Um, I would say, you know, I love making lists. That always helps to see all my options out in front of me. So make a list of potential solutions. You know, do you want to try Rogaine? Do you want to try a medication? Do you think that you know, if just your ends are wispy, do you want to try extensions? Would that, you know, be not so scary? Do you want to try fibers? You know, there's a lot of different solutions. And I wore, you know, those little hair scrunchy buns with hair fibers for months before I ever got a topper. So just sort of easing yourself into it and looking at potential solutions can be helpful. And if you decide, and again, you know, I have nothing to say on regrowing hair because I haven't done it. So my, you know, expertise is on wearing hair. If you decide you want to try wearing hair, you know, do your research. There's a lot of great websites out there, a lot of great Instagram accounts that will break down the different types of hair toppers, construction, that kind of thing. I started with a less expensive synthetic. I wore synthetic for a long time. You know, the investment's not quite so much. They can, you know, there are pros and cons to every different type of hair. But practicing with it, you know, before I wore my topper to work, I went to the grocery store in it. You know, I would just wear it around the house. I would walk the dog in it. Just anything to practice wearing it, which I've said before, the more you practice things, the more you tell yourself, you know, that it's going to be okay. And the more you fake it till you make it, you know, it does get easier. You really do start to believe yourself. So I am always here for support. I know it can come off like I don't care about my hair loss or I've never struggled with it. That is very far from the truth. Even now, you know, it sucks when I go swimming in the pool and I can't go underwater because if I do, my scalp will show, and I'm not comfortable with that. You know, that stinks. Or, you know, I will not leave the house without something covering my head, whether it's a hat or a topper, whatever. I will not go out in just my bio hair. So I still have a hang up about that. And I might forever. I don't know.
It's totally fine. Yeah.
It is.
Same.
You know, we all have our stuff. I'm full of stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, just talking about it, being open about it, educating people, you know, a lot of people don't know about female hair loss. And when I started talking about it at work, you know, I've had a few coworkers come up to me and say, you know, I'm thinning back here. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, I do. Do you want to try fibers? Here's my bottle of fibers. Go ahead and try it. You know, so I've got one woman in my office wearing fibers in her hair. I've got another one wearing fibers and a scrunchy bun. I have another one who is interested in extensions. You know, it's the more you talk about it, the more you can connect with people, and it really does become not so scary anymore.
Right.
And I find strength in being able to help other people. You know, if I can take what knowledge I have and expertise I have and pass it on and help somebody not feel so bad about themselves, then it's beautiful.
Totally. And you're doing an amazing job. So thank you so much. Really.
Thank you.
Well, love, thank you for everything, for sharing your story, for continuing to do that work on Instagram, because it's definitely, it doesn't go unnoticed, I have to say. So thank you. And for you guys, I hope I get to see you in the next interview. And make sure to follow Jessie. Can you tell them where to find you?
Sure. It's at polycystic _ coiffure. A lot of people don't know how to pronounce it.
You will never forget that.
Polycystic coiffure. It's French. I did not take French. So that's where you can find me on Instagram. Always available, unless you're selling my wig.
Yeah, we know that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jessie.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Okay.